Anthony.Freed. Uh, as most of you know, watch this show. I also have another media group where we cover the business of cannabis. And Anthony is a longtime player in that space. And my business partner in that is Dan Keelan, who used to work with Matt at WWJ. And so
Yep.
um, actually, Anthony came to me and I laid it on Dan. He has this idea for a video series that maybe something as it builds up could go on the Roku channel or something that would involve infused cannabis cooking, cannabis infused cooking. And so he has now joined with my other business partner the main product is called 420post.com, but we also have one that's called Sparks and Recreation, which is aimed at the cannabis tourism industry.
Hmm.
So Anthony's kinds of fits into both. Talk a little bit about it. You want to be the Anthony Bourdain of cannabis infused cooking or something, I think you said, right?
To me, it's about where we are with the cannabis industry. In my mind, right now is we're going mainstream, and there's an opportunity there to help educate people. There's a lot of my contemporaries that when you try to tell them there are more people using cannabis now just because it's legal, depending on where you live. That weren't doing it before because they can't wrap their head around what you mean someone wouldn't do something because it's illegal. But there are a lot of people that are trying it for the first time, and every single one of us gets sick. Not a single one of us is immune from that. Our government has had patents on cannabis related treatments for decades now. We know that GW Pharmaceutical exists and does very well on the old stock ticker. They produce pharmaceutical products that target even some pediatric diseases. So this is about educating, letting the mainstream know how to cook an infused dish, maybe even based on their culture, their location, proximity. I know we're going to be doing a show in Vegas. We're going to be doing a show in Portland. So it's about gravitating towards the local culture, the local stories of activism in regards to cannabis, and making sure everyone knows how to dose these products as they're making them in their kitchen, so they don't whack grandma out with a 200 milligram brownie accidentally.
Whoops. Granny's sleeping now.
Grandma is sleeping now. See grandma again in 72 hours.
Yeah, that was actually my suggestion for the title of this thing was Beyond Brownies, because almost everybody's heard of pot brownies, but there's a lot of other ways to use marijuana in cooking, right? I mean, I remember back in my student days that someone slipped a little into stuffing at a friend's Thanksgiving party, and that was actually really nice. And I mean, it even tasted good.
As far as taste goes, if you look at a sommelier, and I understand what goes into different agricultural products. At the end of the day, if you're manufacturing at a high enough level, you're essentially a farmer. So it's understanding some of those, soil contents, the amount of sun time that a plant gets, its cannabinoid, its terpene profile, how that's going to affect the flavor. A lot of times you're using concentrates for this because it affects the recipe in such a small way because it's just a gram or so, usually less. So something about the size of a nickel is going to go in and medicate this dish. Some of those concentrates are flavorless and odorless, but other ones have a citrus, have a earthiness to them that can be paired with certain dishes. And so it's really about teaching that And I still to this day, I know it's a dying art form, but my family, at the end of the day, we still gather around the kitchen table. We still talk about our days. We, you know, we, to me, food is a time machine. It's not only expression of culture, but it's an expression of what goes into what made our soul. When I make beef and noodles, I am transported back to my grandmother's kitchen every time. And so, even though my youngest daughter didn't get to know my grandmother, she knows my grandmother's cooking. So I want that to be part of what it means to be mainstream in America with cannabis. We can go to a college football game, go blue, uh, and drink all day. There's safe means of consumption in other ways, and much safer than alcohol. So to promote not only how to do it, but how to put it into your favorite dishes, and there'll be these stories will be set in a backdrops that have really unique and interesting companies that'll help support this education process. And I think it's something that's really, really needed. And people need to understand that, cannabis users are doctors, lawyers, fathers, brothers, daughters. They come from all walks of life. The level and sophistication of the scientific methods that are utilized to produce these concentrates. There's chemical engineering now that comes into play. 35,000 jobs and $3 billion in revenue in Michigan alone this year. So it's promoting all of that and being a good steward for the industry, and again, making sure grandma has the appropriate size brownie at the end of the day.
That's it. Help her get to sleep. So the idea, though, is he's gonna. You'd be surprised how many chefs there are in the state that do infused cooking, and that's part of what you want to do, right, Anthony? Is you want to feature those folks?
Absolutely. Cooking is a dying art form, and cooking with great ingredients is something that's even less done. So to me, if you're going to take the time to make something that's infused, let's not put it on a Triscuit, right? Let's get a nice piece of salmon and blacken it, and pair it with some asparagus and a lemon butter sauce that's infused. So it's really a chance to showcase the talents of some of the amazing chefs that are doing this across the state already. And the second and third most search terms are cannabis tourism and cooking, behind where do I go to find a dispensary. Those are the second and third most search terms in regards to cannabis. So there's obviously a public demand for a lot of this information as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to work with some of Michigan's top chefs and candy makers. I never thought that I'd have this opportunity, so I am really enjoying planning it out. I really look forward to everything that we do next year.
So what form is this content going to take? Is it going to be website, magazine, videos, all of the above? Basically, what are you planning to do, and who will be featured in it? Will it be just chefs, or will it be do-it-yourself recipes, or what are you thinking at this point?
So we're right now with the Vegas show, which will probably end up being the first one that we film. We're looking at interviewing a gentleman who just got the very first contract in over 100 years with zigzag papers outside of tobacco. And he's also invented a software program that allows you to propagate a genetic without actually having to do a pheno hunt, meaning you won't have to pop 300 seeds to determine what the given effect, flavor, and smell of a particular plant is, as there's thousands and thousands of different phenotypes to grow. It'll also furthermore allow you to cross-pollinate, do a cross-pollination simulation so that you'll know what breeding two different phenotypes would bring, which knocks out about 2 to 3 years of growing out plants. And then doing so in addition to interviewing someone like that, we'll look at what's going on in the Las Vegas scene, which is one of the most vibrant and inclusive scenes in the country. They do a lot of one-off products there. They do a lot of R&D there because it's such a transient city. It's one of the only places you can sell a $1,000 pre-rolled cannabis cigarette. So it's a very unique market. I'm right now working on getting Planet 13 to allow us to tour them. They are a all-in-one experience, submersive kind of dispensary where you can see a lot of the products be made like you're at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. But again, just showcasing, the local culture, food, and environment when it comes to the cannabis industry in general. And we'll be doing that in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is, I consider my hometown. So we're looking at, finding a tour guide there, just like we do anywhere else, and looking at the city to explore it, talk a few stories while we do, and then get down to making something absolutely amazing that could be made at a tailgate.
So, and this is all a work in progress, and we're gonna kind of just see how things go and what the interest level is with the various consumers of our product here, or of our podcast, video, all the above, and then see where we go from there. But again, getting back to we want to really highlight a lot of the Michigan-based chefs that are dabbling in this space. And it doesn't have to necessarily be THC. It could be CBN and CBDs and all sorts of things like that, right?
Yeah. Part of this is, to teach the different things that you can fold into your ingredients and the different reasons why you may want to do that. Not everyone wants to use THC. CBD is readily available in different forms that can be easily added. But we really want to teach what the proper way to amount to put in these ingredients so that they don't have too much.
Okay. And again, he'll be going to Vegas. The MI Biz Daily has their big event out there. I think it was early December, right?
Yeah, MJ BizCon. It takes up every square inch of the Las Vegas Convention Center, both sides. I even 15 years ago when we were doing ballot initiatives and getting signatures, I never imagined they were going to let us take over Vegas for a week. So that is essentially what it is. It has become the biggest, most important cannabis event in the world, not just here in America. People from all over the world will be there. Like 35,000 vendors, after parties for 5 days, and 3 days of exhibit. If they sent 10 of me, I still wouldn't really be able to adequately cover the entire event. It is overwhelming.
Yeah, Matt covered the Consumer Electronics Show for a long time for WWJ, right, Matt?
Yeah, and that was the same kind of deal. That was 140,000 people at a trade show, including 10,000 journalists, and every square inch of not only the convention center, but every hotel ballroom you could think of as well. It sounds like this show is becoming the CES of the cannabis industry.
It absolutely is. Literally all the hotels on the Strip will be involved in one way or another. There's a lot of competition cups that will be held there over the week to determine best quality in any given category. It's a very exciting time for the industry that's still basically in its infancy. I could be
Let's do that
reached at
first.
Anthony.Freed at sensymag.com or afreedmind78 at gmail.com. We are currently looking for great cities in Michigan and elsewhere to provide a really interesting backdrop. We're looking for, success stories and people that have overcome obstacles to get into the industry. And of course, we're looking for just really talented chefs that have some amazing dishes that they would like to infuse and get recognition for.